The sixth dimension of intelligence is justice. Now, justice is the foundation of all civilization and all cultural intelligence. When justice ceases, civilization crumbles. Justice is a great deal more than morality and execution of law. It's also fair play. Justice is the golden rule of fair exchange. Exchange is the basis of life in the universe, from the most elemental particles to the most complex human situations. Justice is the intelligence of exchange and balance. When balance is maintained, health prevails. This is true of all things, from a healthy person to a healthy planet. Through practicing balance and fair exchange, you will develop wisdom in your discourses with life and with others. Your instincts will alert you to the validity of ideas as to whether a project will be fruitful or whether a job is right for you. You'll also know how to determine fairness in wages and pricing. All things return to balance eventually. Being a wise and effective custodian of those balances is the hallmark of justice. There's a special dimension of intelligence in the heart which allows this to happen. Joshua explained that our common practice of competitive pricing, confirmed by a consumer's willingness to pay, does not necessarily mean that a correct value has been determined. There's a fair price for everything, and that derives its justice from an exact ratio of displacement. How much energy, time, effort, and ability were spent in producing the product and service. Paying too little and paying too much are equally damaging to the act of exchange, and both will inhibit a return to equilibrium. In many countries, price haggling is still a way of life. This is fine only if you're willing to challenge the low ones as well as the high ones. Challenging prices or any other exchange only for your own profit is less than true justice and will weaken the intelligence of the heart. Justice is the principle of fairness, and it works both ways. Don't think you're going to disadvantage yourself by practicing justice. Everyone has special advantages in life according to his covenant with the source. By not pursuing unfair advantages, you are blessed with greater clarity about your own special opportunities and advantages. Everyone has advantages. In order to find them, a person must first surrender his pursuit of unfairness. In self-pity, a person may protest and say, "Oh, I don't have any advantages." Oh, who would have thought that Helen Keller, both blind and deaf, had any advantage? It may seem that she had every disadvantage in the world. This is the law of the meek who inherit the earth. When you forfeit and surrender all pursuit of unfair advantages, you find that you are sitting in a gold mine of advantages that have been given to you. That gold mine can only be found in the innocence of your heart. If containment of criminality were the only reason for justice, it could hardly be regarded as a higher intelligence. The true purpose of justice is not about containing of anything. Rather, it's about adjustments and resolutions. Justice is a way of life that nourishes goodness and stewards the never-ending flow of exchange. Nevertheless, criminality flourishes where there is widespread injustice. To make a comparison with personal health, you may relate the disease of criminality to the onset of a serious heart trouble after years of stress and unhealthy living. Justice is like water. It finds its own true level if there's enough fairness and exchange to accommodate the flow. When adjustments cannot be made, desperate measures will often be attempted. There are many possible causes of criminal action, yet when a society practices justice, there's no fertile ground to permit its cultivation. As you refrain from undervaluating the worth of your presence, so do you open the doors of wealth you are here to share with each other. So let's do another brief inventory of our intelligence of justice. Again, I'm going to ask you to go in to your Sacred Heart and contemplate these three statements and do it with honesty. Being falsely humble doesn't do justice to yourself, nor does it provide a basis for you to grow. Number one, a way I have been unjust with myself is. Again, contemplate this with compassion. This is not ammunition to beat yourself up with, but it's by recognizing how we've been unjust to ourselves, we can ease up, we can reverse that course. Again, set with this a minute. A way I have been unjust with myself is. Secondly, a way I think I have been treated unjustly is. Again, this is not self-pity, it's not being a victim, it's an honest statement of ways that you sense that you have been treated unjustly. Thirdly, and most importantly, a way I am willing to restore justice to these situations is. The situations which you just went through, where you've been unjust to yourself, feel you've been treated unjustly, own the way that you're willing to restore justice to these situations. Okay, so thank yourself, your higher intelligence, for shining a light on these important areas that can make a great difference in your path in life. Finally, we come to the seventh dimension of intelligence within the heart, which is kindness. Kindness is not just an act of charity to the young, the vulnerable, or the needy. It's the will of God for everyone. Your goodness is strengthened through kindness. It is the will of the Father that you know and use that power to be a wise custodian of what you have been given. Through acts of kindness, our own abundance increases. For you have multiplied the ways in which your giving may be returned to you. Kindness is not talked about much in the world today, and few have any understanding of what it really is. There's even a disregard for kindness as an act of appropriation made by the strong to the weak, a compensation for their dominance. Thus, many are embarrassed to accept kindness. If you contemplate kindness in your heart, however, you will find it to be a far more interesting subject than that. The world regards kindness as a compensation for life or a gentle protection from its harsher realities. Actually, kindness is the heart of living. It's what makes life bearable, meaningful, and delicious. You may begin asking yourself the question, what would be the greatest kindness I could do for another? Then, what is the kindest thing I could do for myself? Be specific. That's the key to unlocking the intelligence of kindness. Generalities about kindness may lead to lovely sentiments that are inapplicable to your particular life circumstance. You may be surprised with the answers you receive to these direct and probing questions. So let's do a brief inventory on our intelligence of kindness. Once again, go into your sacred heart, the place where you can listen to your own inner truth and wisdom. The first question is, the greatest kindness I could do for another is. The greatest kindness I could do for another is. Secondly, the greatest kindness I could do for myself is. Thirdly, how I am willing to grow in my intelligence of kindness is. Okay. Again, you may well want to take notes on this. In order to develop the intelligence of kindness, you must discover the joy of truly giving and forgiving. No strings attached, not even so much as for glory or recognition. A person who reserves his offerings only for exchange or control will soon lose the intelligence of kindness. Next, you must learn how to be kind to yourself. Now, some people are afraid of being kind to themselves for fear of that it represents weakness or that it may lead to indulgence. Others eat chocolate and watch TV all day. That's avoidance of life, not kindness. Such disabling habits exist because they do not know what kindness is. In expressing kindness, you're literally tapping into the intelligence of God. In understanding kindness for yourself, you also understand it for others. It is the will of God that you be kind to yourself and others. Kindness is the right use of will. Kindness is goodwill, making life work and consideration for others. Kindness is strength in action. The confidence that comes from showing kindness is a masterful influence over any situation. Think about how much strength it takes to honor your true potential instead of diminishing it. Consider how much strength it takes to show goodwill to someone who is hurting you. Kindness builds strength, and strength builds greater kindness. Kindness is the consummating dimension of the heart's intelligence, the will of God for life itself. When I use the word intelligence, do not confuse it with the dry detachment of mental reasoning. True intelligence is merely certainty and understanding, which bring both clarity and passion to life. Another way of saying the same thing is that within the Sacred Heart are 7 passions: unity, love, life, respect, honesty, justice, and kindness, which bring understanding and focus to living. Together, they generate compassion, which is the soul's true knowing. So let the questions of how you may be kind to yourself and others dance with you and bring all the 7 passions of the heart to bless you and be breathed into your service beyond this presentation here today and in all your life. I believe these 7 dimensions of the heart's intelligence will change your work as a breath worker, will change how you receive breath, as well as how you share breath with everyone on the planet, whether you're doing formal sessions with them or whether you are simply sitting on the bus next to them.